In this video, we are going to discuss about simple equations. Now before starting the topic, let's try to understand one game. Now this game is played between two friends. Let's say they are Rahul and Vijay. Rahul asked Vijay to think of a number and keep it secret. Vijay don't have to tell the number to Rahul. So Vijay thought of one number and then Rahul told him to multiply that number with 5 and add 10 to the product. And then Rahul asked him what result you are getting. Then Vijay told him that he is getting 60 as a result. And then suddenly Rahul replied to him that you must have thought of the number 10. Now Vijay is totally shocked that how Rahul did this. Now Rahul asked him again to think of any other number. Vijay thought of a number and then Rahul asked him to multiply the number with 5 and add 10 to it and tell me the result. And then Vijay again replied to him that the result he is getting is 100 this time. And then Rahul suddenly replied to him that the number you are thinking of is 18. Now Vijay is again shocked that how Rahul is doing all these things. Now let's try to make a mathematical equation from this situation. So what Rahul said to Vijay, Rahul said him to think of any number. So let us assume that the number he is thinking is, so let's assume the number is x. And then what he told him to multiply this number with 5. So he multiplied it with 5, he got 5x. And then he have to add 10 to it. He added 10. So this is the expression now we are getting in x. Then what he told him, he asked the result whatever he is getting. In the first case, when he multiplied his number with 5 and added 10 to it, he got 60. So this means he just equated this number or this expression with 60. And now from this expression, he found the value of x which is satisfying this equation. And that value is 10. As he told him that the number you have thought of is 10. And in the second case, what he did, he just simply equated this expression 5x plus 10 with 100. Because the result Vijay was getting in the second case was 100, as we can see here. And then from this equation, he simplified it and got the value of x as 18. So this is how Rahul and Vijay played a game. So in this chapter, we are going to study many more situations like this, in which a real equation or a real life situation will be converted into a mathematical equation. In the previous class, you must have studied that equation is a condition on variables. Now let's try to understand what are variables first. Variables are the quantities which are not fixed. The quantities which are not fixed are known as variables. And quantities which are fixed are known as constants. Variables are usually represented with small letters x, y, z, t, u, v, like this. And constants are the fixed numbers. We can say 1, 2, 10, -2, 0, like this. All these are the constants. Now let's try to understand what are expressions first. When we apply mathematical operations on variables, that is when we apply operations like multiplication, addition, subtraction, division on variables, an expression is formed. Let's see an example. Let's say we multiply 4 with x and we add 5 to it. Now this is one expression. Similarly, we can take x plus y plus 2z. Now here also we have used the operation addition and multiplication when we were writing 2z. So this is also an example of expression. Similarly, we can have many more expressions. Let's say 2t plus z. This is also an example of expression. So basically we can say that expressions are formed by performing operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division on variables. By doing so, expressions are formed. For example, let's take an expression which is 5x plus 10. Now here what we did, first we multiplied 5 with variable x and then we have added 10 to it. So this is how an expression is formed. Now let's take one more example. Let's say it is 7z or 7x plus 10z plus y. Now what we are doing here, we are multiplying 7 with x and then we are adding 10 multiplied with z to it and then we added y to it. Like this, one more expression is formed. Now let's take one more example. Let's say we are having 4t plus 20. Now here we multiplied 4 with t, where t is the variable. Its value is not fixed. And then we added 20 to it. Now values of these expressions are dependent upon the variables they are including. Now for example, let's consider this expression. Now if we put t equal to 0, value of this expression will become 4 into 0 plus 20. Now 4 into 0 is 0 plus 20. This will give us 20. Similarly, instead of t as 0, we can take t as 4 also. So we will get expression as 4 into 4 plus 20. Now this gives us 16 plus 20, which is equal to 36. Now which means at t equal to 4, value of this expression is 36. So basically what we want to say here is values of expression are dependent upon values of variables. Whichever value of variable we will select, according to that only we are going to get values of expression. Now let's understand what are equations. First of all, the most important thing in equations is equations will always have an equality sign. They will always have equality sign. Which sign? This sign is equality sign. Now by this sign what we are doing basically, we are just equating an expression written on left side of the equal sign to the expression written on the right side of the equality sign. It can be a constant number also. So here we are having one equation, 4x plus 5 is equal to 5. Now this equality sign is showing us that value of this expression is equal to 5. Or suppose we can have 4x plus 10 is equal to 5x minus 2. Now here the equality sign is showing us the value of this expression. The expression written on left hand side of the equality sign is equal to the expression written on the right side of the equality sign, which is 5x minus 2. Usually we have constants on the right side of the equation. So usually our equations look like this. 7x plus 10 is equal to any constant number, which can be 20, or we can have any other number also here. It depends upon the situation. So this is also one equation. Here this part, the part on the left side of the equation, is written as LHS, which is left hand side of the equality sign, and this is RHS. This is right hand side of equality sign. Now this equality sign is showing us that left hand side is equal to right hand side. These are basically the definitions of equations, or we can say examples of equations.
Now, subscribe to Bright Tutee course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Tutee app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Tutee courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Tutee follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutee and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Now let's see few more examples on equations. Let's say we are having 10x plus 2 is equal to 5. Now this is one equation. Here left hand side is 10x plus 2 and right hand side is 5. Now let's see one more example, which is 4x minus 10 is equal to minus 30. Now can you tell me what is left hand side and what is right hand side of this equation? So left hand side will be this side. 4x minus 10 is left hand side, we will write it as LHS, and minus 30 is right hand side of the equation. Now if there is no equality sign, will it be an equation? Suppose we are having this 2x plus 5 less than 20. Is it an equation? No, this is not an equation because here we don't have any equality sign. There is no equality sign here, so this is not an equation. Here this is inequality, which is showing that this left hand side 2x plus 5 is less than right hand side, which is 20. So most important thing for equations is there should be an equality sign, then only it is known as equation. Otherwise it will not be a equation. Now let's see one more example of equations. Let's say we are having 5x minus 10 is equal to 100. This is the one equation in which left hand side is 5x minus 10 and right hand side is 100. Now what if we interchange left hand side and right hand side? What if we write the equation like this? 100 is equal to 5x minus 10. Is the equation still same? The answer will be yes. The equation is still same. Even if we will interchange left hand side and right hand side, the equation will remain same. Let's have one more equation, which is 7x plus 2 is equal to 5x minus 20. This is the equation in which left hand side is 7x plus 2. This is left hand side, and right hand side is 5x minus 20. Now what if we change position of right hand side and left hand side? What if we interchange them? If we write the equation as 5x minus 20 is equal to 7x plus 2, the equation is still same. These two equations are same only. So basically we can conclude from here, even if we change left hand side and right hand side, or even if we interchange left hand side and right hand side of the equation still remains the same only. Now as we have discussed that equation is condition on variables. Let's say we are having one expression 4x plus 10 and we put one condition that this is equal to 100. Now this becomes an equation. So equation is basically conditions on variables. We can have one more example. Let's say we are having 5x plus 2 and we put one condition here that this is equal to minus 19. So again we had put one condition on variables here and we got one equation. Now this is one equation we can say. So ultimately we can say equations are conditions on variables. So now the question is, where do we use equations? Why do we study them? So the thing is, many times we convert the real life situation to equations, and then by solving those mathematical equations we can solve the real life situations. Let's see how we convert real life statements or real life situations into a mathematical equation. For example, let's consider this question. The question here is, write the following statements in the form of equations. The first statement here is, the sum of 3 times x and 11 is 32. So what they are saying, the sum of 3 times x. What will be 3 times x? 3 times x will be 3x. And it has to be added to 11 because it is written the sum of 3 times of x and 11 is 32. Now this sum is equal to 32. Now this is the equation representing the first statement. So one statement was given to us here and we formed a mathematical equation from that statement. Now let's take the second statement. The second statement is, if you subtract 5 from 6 times a number, you get 7. So here no variable is given to us. We have to assume one variable. So let us assume the number we are talking here is y. Let the number be y. Now the number is y here. Now what we have to do? We have to subtract 5 from 6 times of a number. First of all, what is 6 times of a number? It is 6y. 6 multiplied with the number, this gives us 6y. Now we have to subtract 5 from it. And then we get 7 from here. So this will be equal to 7. So now this is the equation or mathematical equation which is representing this second statement. Now let's go for the third statement. So the third statement here is 1/4 of m is 3 more than 7. Now 1/4 of m, it will be 1 upon 4 of m, which is 1 upon 4 m. 1/4 of m is 3 more than 7. So we can say difference between 1/4 of m and 7. This difference is equal to 3. Now this is the mathematical equation which is representing this statement 1/4 of m is 3 more than 7. Now let's see one more example. The fourth statement here is 1/3 of a number plus 5 is 8. Now again here variable is not told here. We have to assume the variable. First we will make assumption. Let the number B, Z. We can choose any alphabet here. So we have assumed Z here. Let the number be Z. Now if the number is Z, then what will be its 1/3? It will be 1 upon 3 Z. 1 upon 3 Z plus 5, as it is given here. 1/3 of a number plus 5. This is equal to 8. So now this will be equal to 8. Now this is the equation which is representing the fourth statement. So by this example we have seen that how we can convert real life situations to mathematical equations.
Now, subscribe to Bright Tutee course at Rs 1 per day only. Download Bright Tutee app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Tutee courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Tutee follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutee and avail your courses at affordable prices.
In the previous example, we have seen that how to convert statements in equations. When the statements were given to us, we formed equations from there. Now can we go the other way around? Yes, it is possible. Now this time, in this example, equations are already given to us. We have to convert them into statement. Let's consider the first equation. The first equation is x minus 5 is equal to 9. What statement can we use here? What we are doing here, we are subtracting 5 from x and we are getting 9. So we can write it as when 5 is subtracted from x. When 5 is subtracted from x, it gives 9. This can be one of the statement representing this equation. We can have one more, like say we can write it as taking 5 from x gives 9. So the statements are not fixed. We can have more than one statements for a particular equation. Now let's consider the second equation. Here we have 5 multiplied with p is equal to 20. We can write this as 5 times p gives 20. Here 5 into p was equal to 20, so we have made a statement 5 times p gives 20. Now the third equation here is 3n plus 7 is equal to 1. Now what statement should we use here, or what will be the statement that represents this equation? It can be 7 added to 3 times of n, or we can write it as thrice of n. 7 added to thrice of n gives, now this is equal to 1, so we will write 1 here. So the statement is 7 added to thrice of n gives 1. Instead of thrice, we can write 3 times also. It will be the same thing only. We can write 7 added to 3 times of n gives 1. Now let's see one more equation and let's try to write statement for this equation. So here what we are doing, m upon 5 minus 2 gives us 6. So now what we are doing here, we are subtracting 2 from 1/5 of m. and this is giving us 6. So the statement can be written as when 2 is subtracted from 1/5 of m, m upon 5 is 1/5 of m. When 2 is subtracted from 1/5 of m, or we can write it as when 2 is subtracted from 1/5 of a number m, gives us or gives 6. Now this can be the statement which will represent the fourth equation here. The equation was m upon 5, which is 1/5 of m, and then we subtracted 2 from it, and this is giving us 6. So the statement we made is when 2 is subtracted from 1/5 of m gives 6. So this is how we can convert equations to statements. Now we have seen both the ways. First we have seen statements to equations, and then we have seen equations to statements. Now let's consider one more situation or one more statement, and let's write equation for this situation. So here it is given, Raju's father's age is 5 years more than 3 times Raju's age. Raju's father is 44 years old. We have to set up an equation to find Raju's age. Now do we know Raju's age here? No, we don't know what is Raju's age. So let's do one thing. Let us assume let Raju's age be x years. So here we have made one assumption, which is Raju's age is x years. Now what is given to us? Raju's father's age is 5 years more than 3 times Raju's age. So father's age, or we can write it as Raju's father's age is equal to 5 more than 3 times Raju's age. What will be 3 times of Raju's age? Raju's age is x years. So 3 times of it will be 3x. And what we have to do? We have to add 5 to it, as it is given 5 years more than 3 times Raju's age. So it will be 3x plus 5. So this is the father's age in terms of x. Now father's age is already given to us. What is it? It is 44 years. As we can see here, it is given 44 years. So what equation we will get? We will get 3x plus 5 is equal to 44. This will be the equation representing the above situation. Raju's age is x years. 5 more than 3 times of it will be father's age, and it is 44 years. So this is the required equation. Now let's try to understand it better. So that one more question here is, a shopkeeper sells mangoes in 2 types of boxes, one small and one large. The large box contains as many as 8 small boxes plus 4 loose mangoes. Set up an equation which gives the number of mangoes in each small box. The number of mangoes in large box is given to be 100. Now we have to set an equation which gives number of mangoes in each small box. So let us assume let number of mangoes in each small box be x. Now number of mangoes in each small box is x. And how many mangoes will be there in the large box? It is given. It contains as many as 8 small boxes plus 4 loose mangoes. So it will be number of mangoes in large box. This will be equal to 8 times of number of mangoes in small box. So it will be 8x plus 4 loose mangoes. So it will be 8x plus 4. Now in the question it is already given that it has 100 mangoes. So what will be the equation now? The equation will become 8x plus 4 is equal to 100, because 8x plus 4 is number of mangoes in large box and it is given as 100. So this will be the equation representing the above situation. So this is how we have converted a real life situation into a mathematical equation. Now let us quickly summarize whatever we have learned in this video till now. First of all, we have seen what are variables. Variables are the quantities which are not fixed. Quantities which are not fixed are known as variables. And then we have seen what are constants. Quantities which are fixed are known as constants. And then we have seen what are expressions. We have seen that expression is formed by performing operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication or division on variables. This will form an expression. And after expression we have studied what are equations. So equations are basically conditions on variables. So we can write it as equations as conditions on variables. And after studying or after defining equations, what we did, we have converted statements into equations. And then we have studied how to convert equations into statements. And then we have seen few examples on converting statements to equations. All these things we have covered in this video. So that's all for this video. So that's all for this session. Stay tuned for more upcoming videos like this.
Now, subscribe to Bright Tutee course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Tutee app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Tutee courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Tutee follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutee and avail your courses at affordable prices.